Hi, my name is Rachelle Smith, entrepreneur, professional speaker, and author. Last time, highlighted the importance of self-image, concluded that two-part series on self-image because, folks, how we see ourselves truly will impact the quality of life we have, our level of happiness. I mean, there's just so many aspects of our lives that are impacted by our self-image, how we view ourselves. Again, not the mask that people wear and portray to the world, but how we truly feel about ourselves. The image that we have about ourselves on the inside dictates so much that we have in life. And so, but folks, again, like I said, we've all, it doesn't matter if you're watching this from South Africa or Indonesia or South Korea or the southern part of the United States, all right, it can be overcome. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are. We could all overcome self-image issues. And so I actually wanted to highlight on this episode, when we think about, again, it's Martin Luther King Day, and the heart of what Dr. King believed was just equality, particularly equality of opportunity. All right, so regardless of what our backgrounds were, or ethnic backgrounds, whatever the case may be, that we would all be afforded equal opportunities in life. And so I wanted to highlight on this episode just three remarkable and three wonderful stories of recent episodes that I've read here of Sports Illustrated. And they just highlight the importance of self-image and, again, and how much we can achieve in life when we believe in ourselves. Okay, and so some would argue, well, I was raised on the wrong side of town, or I was raised poor, or I was raised by my grandparents. I mean, there's so many different variations of upbringing in life that could dictate how people turn out and how people don't turn out. Okay, some turn out well, some people don't. Okay, but as these three examples really illustrate, we think about opportunity, we think about equal opportunity, and the fact that some people have that power of belief and are just consumed and obsessed with desire to be winners in life and make things happen in life and be successful. All right, this is truly one of the tenets that Dr. King really espoused, regardless of who you were, where you come from, that you have the ability to succeed. But you've got to believe that yourself. You've got to have an image of yourself on the inside as winners, as successful, as victors, okay, or it won't happen. First example, wonderfully remarkable story here. It talks about a young man named Gianna, who's taken the NBA by storm, and he's actually on the Milwaukee Bucks, number 34. And the Milwaukee Bucks, folks, for those who don't know, is a team in the NBA, the National Basketball Association. And so the actual title of the story is Freak Unleashed, and Lee Jenkins did a great job with this article, highlighting this young man. And basically, to give you a quick blurb, it says the Bucks have handed the reins to the ridiculously athletic 6'11" Giannis, making him the tallest and most intriguing point guard in NBA history. Okay, so when someone's 6'11", when a player is 6'11", doesn't matter if you're playing in the NBA, if you're a man, or the WNBA, if you're a female. Okay, if you're 6'11", the coaches, the league is going to automatically want to slot you into that center role. Okay, because that's the folks 6'11", 7'2", whatever. Okay, but this young man defied the odds. He defied the labels. He defied, again, what is so remarkable about him, he has defied the history of the point guard position. Okay, this young man being 6'11", some would argue, and of course, on any team, your point guards tend to be your more shorter folks on the team. Of course, short in the NBA is very different from just short in society, but again, they're just different, got to have, better ball control. And of course, that helps when you have a lower center of gravity, the shorter you are versus someone that's 6'11". But this young man has defied the odds. Okay, and to say, you know what, folks may want to slot me, but guess what? I can play, I can run the point, and I can do a great job at it. It doesn't matter how tall I am. All right, so various labels, whether whether it's the NBA or your corporation or your business or your company, okay, your community may want to put labels on you and put you in a particular category or box and say, well, based on this attribute, okay, you've got to do this, and this is where you should be. All right, and so I just encourage you to be authentic. This young man is playing very authentic basketball and saying, hey, I can make things happen in this role that I shouldn't even be in. And so that is so encouraging and so inspiring when you think about your own life, even in the workplace. Okay, you may be in a role where you're just not fulfilled, you're not happy. And why is that? Because somebody else felt that you should be there. Okay, it's up to you to have the confidence to break out of that box, to break out of the mold, shake up the status quo, and be successful where you know you should be. Just like Gianna's wonderful, wonderful background. Parents are originally from Nigeria, but they immigrated to Greece. So this young man and his siblings grew up in Greece. But very poor, had to struggle. Parents had to really work hard to make things happen, but he is now a success in the NBA. All right, based on defying the odds. Okay, his image of himself is very, very positive from the standpoint of, I see myself as being successful even in a role that I shouldn't even be in. And the same can be true for you, but you've got to have a healthy, positive, balanced self-image in order to make that happen. Number 2, Michael Phelps, all right, the swimmer, the most decorated Olympian in history. Okay, and we all know 2013, 2014, a lot of personal issues regarding some demons he had been dealing with, drug and alcohol abuse, and a couple brushes with the law in those regards. But he could have told himself, he could have had the image of himself that so many people have when they face adversity, when they face setbacks, when they make mistakes, and when they have problems in life. Adversity throws them off the rails, throws them off their path that they're on. Okay, he could have adopted a self-image, like I said. Many people adopted will say, well, I'm a loser, I will never rebound from this, my life is over, my career is over, whatever, okay? And so just like Michael Phelps, be inspired. He overcame that. He overcame his demons. He overcame his mistakes. All right, he redeemed himself. He got back on track, got back fully focused, full-fledged training, working hard, swimming, and made things happen at our most recent Olympics in Brazil last year. And so, folks, the same can be true for you. So no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter what adversity, what obstacles, what problems, whatever setbacks, you too can overcome, but you've got to have the image of yourself. You've got to see yourself as equal and not inferior, okay, based on mistakes or problems or where you were raised or where you come from. All right, you too can be successful, but you've got to believe it. You've got to believe it, okay? This is part of what Dr. King died for, that we would all have equal opportunity, regardless of who we are, where we come from, or what backgrounds we have, what mistakes we may have made. So he's living the dream. He's living the dream of equality. He overcame his past and his setbacks. And so again, folks, be inspired by the most decorated Olympian in history. And if you look at society says when you struggle with those problems and those addictions and things like that, you will never rebound. Your life is over. Okay, he proved all the naysayers wrong, and so can you. And lastly, as my last issue fell off my lap here, the Clemson Tigers. Okay, just wonderful. It made me smile when I saw this, and I was so happy that they won. I was cheering for them, and quite honestly, I felt that Deshaun Watson should have won the Heisman, not only this year, but he should have won it last year. But anyway, he silenced all the naysayers, will be, declared for the NFL draft, and will do extremely well in his career, I feel. But again, folks, many people label them as the underdog. All right, they're not going to beat out Alabama. They're just a Crimson Tide. You're not going to be able to penetrate that defense, whatever the case may be. Okay, many people had written the Clemson Tigers off, but they proved the naysayers wrong. All right, and so, some people will argue, okay, we've got your elite teams, regardless of what division or what level, whether you're in the NFL, whether you're at, Division I, NC2A schools, whatever the case may be. All right, that caliber of talent continues to increase as you go up and as you, of course, end up in the NFL. But, okay, Clemson, yes, many, many years ago, I think it was more than 30 years ago since they won a national title, but they made things happen. Why is this? Why was that, truly? Because the players didn't see themselves as underdogs. They saw themselves, again, they had been given an equal opportunity, just like all the other teams, in the division and within the conference, and had done everything they needed to do to make this happen. All right, but they saw it on the inside. They didn't believe the hype that Alabama would be unbeatable. They didn't believe that hype. They didn't listen to the negativity. They didn't listen to the critics. They didn't listen to the haters and the doubters. No. They maintained that image of success and saw themselves as winners and saw themselves as victorious. And Deshaun Watson, again, everything rises and falls on leadership, as John C. Maxwell has often stated. Okay, it was truly, it's all about many cases that the quarterback is setting the tone for the team, and Deshaun led that team to victory. And I was so happy. I think many folks in America were just so happy. Again, because we all love these quote-unquote underdog stories, but you too can prove the naysayers wrong. And I don't think there was probably another Clemson fan that was so excited other than my brother, Oscar, who recently retired from the Army, but he received his master's degree from Clemson in August of 2015. And I remember I really challenged him and pushed him to continue that degree and make that happen, and don't give up on that goal. But now he's actually got a championship winning team now, in his academic background. But folks, regardless, society may try to label you and say, well, you shouldn't be doing this because you weren't born into the right family. Your parents aren't rich. You don't have the academic, you don't have the pedigree to do X or Y. All right, you don't have this, you don't have that. You're not tall enough. You're too short. You weigh too much. Okay, you don't have the right hair length. I mean, there's just so many different labels and boxes and categories that society likes to place us in. And so, folks, it's up to you to reject those labels and, again, to recognize that in life, regardless of who we are, what kind of backgrounds we have, this is truly a wonderful, particularly in the United States, a wonderful land of equal opportunity. Okay, you can be inspired by stories like LeBron James, and he is just a great inspiration to me and so many, because when you study his background, when you read the biography on his life and you study him, you recognize, he grew up without a father figure, and his mother, worked, and they're moving here and there constantly, and just all this instability in his life, and just all of this change, and whatever. But he overcame all of that. And then is now just, running things in the NBA, and is extremely successful. And of course, recently just won Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. All right, so very, very successful, and he is one of many. All right, there's so many people that overcome adversity in this country and, yes, around the world, that become successful, that make things happen because they aren't making excuses. They are recognizing that, hey, I'm in a position now where I have equal opportunity to make things happen. So all I have to do is work hard, or study hard if I'm in school, or start a business, whatever the case may be, folks. How your life turns out, the trajectory of your life is truly in your hands. And it starts with this mindset. Do you see yourself as successful? Do you see yourself as a winner? Do you see yourself as victorious? Or do you see yourself, have you bought into the label where someone told you you won't amount to anything, or you're not good enough, or you're stupid, or you weigh too much, or no one will ever want you? Okay, reject those negative labels. But it's truly up to you. I can't do it for you. I wish I could. I wish I could. But you've got to take the responsibility to how your life turns out. And it truly starts with the right mindset, recognizing that this is a wonderful, wonderful time to achieve. We've got equal opportunity. What Dr. King, one of the values that he espoused and that he truly ultimately died for. Okay, we need to take responsibility, and we need to make successes of our lives based on the opportunities that are given to us. All right, because if you want it, you'll make it happen. There's just no other way to say it. So I thank you so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.